What's good, guys? Crash back here with another video. Hope everyone's had a good day. Happy Halloween to everyone. Hope everyone's having a good Halloween. If you're young enough to be trick-or-treating, which if you are, you probably shouldn't be watching my videos, but hey, if you still trick-or-treat, then have a good one. I hope you get candy. If you're an adult like me, then get candy at the dollar store, or just be a douchebag and then go on people's porches and just steal the candy so no one else can get it, which I have done many times, and I am very proud to say that because I have no morals. But anyway, guys, so in the spirit of Halloween, I decided to share a rather scarier story than usual on the channel, in spirit of Halloween, of course. And some people may not think this is scary, but when I was in the middle of this strange, I guess you could call it, event or situation, it was pretty scary for me because this never really happened to me before. But yeah, getting on with it, I hope you guys enjoy the video. If you do, leave a like, and yeah, let's get into it. So this story time takes place, I believe, early August of 2017. Right after, well, it wasn't right after, but it was about a couple months after I graduated high school. And it was only, I'd say, a week or two away before college started with everyone, or at least most people that went to college. And since college was going to start up soon, me and a few of my close friends, we decided, you know what, some of us aren't going to be seeing each other for quite a while, and we may not even talk with each other for a while, so you know what, let's hang out and let's do something that is kind of cool, or just that we'll enjoy, you know. And all my friends that were with me, which it was only two other people, were just like, yeah, let's do it, what should we do? And pretty much we decided, instead of like, I don't know, going to a party or whatever, we'll just like chill with each other and, you know, be bros and just go for a walk and just go and do a little bit of drinking on the road. Now, obviously, if you're not 21, I feel like I'm required to say don't drink, but I feel like everyone does it anyway, so yeah, anyway, Susan, I already said it, so please don't take my video down if this gets poppin'. But yeah, me and my friends, we were hanging out kind of late though. We were hanging out, I'd say, we started hanging out around like 11 o'clock at night. And then I'd say we began our walk around like 12:30 after we were just like chilling in his room playing video games or doing whatever, you know, just to pass some time. So we ended up leaving at, like I said, 12:30-ish, maybe a little later than that. And we're just walking down the road, and the whole plan was we're gonna walk from his house to our old high school track. The high school track wasn't that far away. The high school track was probably only like a half-mile away from his house. He lived pretty close to our high school, so it wasn't like a big walk, you know, just a few minutes, maybe 10 minutes at the very most, you know. It wasn't a straight path though, so we did have to make a few turns, but we've all walked the path, and we've actually ran the path all before because we did cross country together, so it wasn't anything new. So I'd say for the first 5 minutes of our walk, nothing eventful happened. We're just chilling. Occasionally a car would pass by and all that, and we were just like having fun. We were like, this is when we first started drinking. This is when we first like started like, I mean, I've drank before this, but like this is the first time I was actually trying to like get somewhat tipsy or maybe even drunk. And we were just like sipping on the fireball as we were walking to the track, and we were just like telling old stories and just having a good laugh and like just trying to savor the moment before like the night would end, you know, and before we would like be separated for college. And man, I'm making that shit sound sad as fuck. But anyway, enough of the sad shit. So like I said, after about 5 minutes of walking, nothing really happened. But randomly when we made a turn and we were like kind of on the home stretch to get to the track, this was like the last road we needed to take in order to get to the high school track, there was this car that passed us, and we didn't think anything of it. It was like, I don't remember what brand it was. I'm just gonna say it was a Prius, or maybe a Honda Civic or something like that. I'm pretty bad with cars, so don't clown me too hard. But yeah, it just passed by us like it was nothing, and we didn't think anything of it. Every time a car would pass, we would hide the alcohol, obviously, because we were 17 at the time. We're not trying to get caught by any cops or anything like that, and we're just trying to mind our own business and like keep to ourselves, you know. After the guy left though, we were just like, you know, doing our thing again, just walking. And then about a minute and a half later, we see another car drive past us, and this car looks pretty similar. Oh my god, I'm getting goosebumps telling this part, but yeah, the car looked kind of similar though, and we're just like, was that the same car? And I'm just like, it could be. I mean, like, there's a lot of people that come by here at night. There was occasionally like a drug deal or two that would go down in that area, but it wasn't like anything violent though. It was just like people just selling it to friends, I guess, because that's the type of area we live in. But that's an extreme scenario. Realistically, we thought this guy was just like lost, or maybe it was just someone that was looking for someone else's house, you know, something logical like that. And we didn't think anything of it. But then what started to like creep us out a little bit was after the guy passed the second time, we heard a car behind us about 2 minutes later. And keep in mind, we're almost off this road. I mean, you guys can't see the road that I'm talking about, or like, I can't really describe it super well. I can only think of it in my head, you know. But pretty much we're almost off the road and we're about to enter my school's property where the track is. And after we enter the property, pretty much we have to walk up like this little hill that you can only walk up. You can't like drive a car up there or anything like that. But right before we get to the property, before we cross the street to get to the property, we hear the car again. And I say the car again because this time I knew it was the same guy, because after you go around twice, you can just kind of tell it's the same guy based off like the color of the car and what kind of car he's driving. And I mean, I guess it could be a coincidence, but trust me, it wasn't a coincidence. But anyway, I look behind me and I'm just like, bro, what is this dude doing? He's behind us again. And he was driving up the road a little bit, but he wasn't passing us this time. This time he drove up the road a little bit, I'd say halfway up the street, so he can clearly see us. We're probably about like 60 feet away from him. Or sorry, I'm gonna say 60 meters away from him. We weren't like super close to him, but you could definitely see us from where he was at. And we could see him even though it was like kind of dark. And I'm just like, what is this dude doing? And my friends were just like, he probably just found the house. He's probably all good. Because he did park right next to a house. So I'm just like brushing it off. I'm like, all right, whatever. And as we're making our way up to the track, we're on school property now. And we're making like the final home stretch to get up there. We're walking on the sidewalk that's leading up to the track. We see this dude again behind us. And we also hear him, obviously. We hear his car turn on. And he gets closer and closer and closer to where he's at the top of the street. And he's probably about, I'd say, 20 meters away now. And he can see us even better. And me and my friends were just like, okay, this is getting kind of weird. Let's just get up to the track where he can't get to us. Because there was only one way to get to the track, and I'll get to that later. But the way we were walking was a sidewalk only, and there was like barriers that block off cars from like entering the property, and there's also a fence, so this dude can't get in. But as we walk up, we're just like talking a little bit more about the car. We're just like, what's this dude doing? Like, is this guy like stalking us? Is this guy like a cop or something? And we didn't really look that sus, honestly. I mean, sure, we had our hoods on and all that, but that's because it was a little bit cold that day. It was like 60 degrees, I'd say. And anyone from my area knows that, like, there's a lot of people at night that wear hoods. They just don't like their face being shown or whatever. So it's a pretty common thing. But anyway, we get to the track finally, and we're just doing laps around it. We're just like chilling. We're talking with each other. We're like having a little laugh, you know. We're kind of tipsy at this point too. We're not like 100% sober. We're not like drunk or anything, but we're just not 100% sober. So we're not like fully paying attention to like our surroundings anymore. Like, we're on alert for car noises, don't get me wrong, but like if someone else were to walk on the track and start running or even run past us, in like all of our laughter, we probably wouldn't notice them until they were like right next to us. So anyway, as we're walking around the track, I'd say about 5 minutes of us walking around the track. We probably did about one lap at this point. The way the track is set up is half of the track you can see the road. The road, like, the best way I can describe it is like the track is at the edge of the campus and we can see the road we were just walking on, and it kind of does a circle around the campus. So we can see like the road turning and making like the start of a circle around the campus, if you catch my drift. And we're walking around and we see the car again. At least I think this was the car. I don't know 100% if the guy driving was the same car, but I think I see the same guy again. And I'm just like, is that the same dude again? And what we saw was, we just saw him, like, if this was the guy, we saw him just driving around the road, and he pretty much just like went in a circle, and he either was going around campus or going partially around campus then leaving. And we're just like, I don't know, that might have been the guy. It kind of looked like the car, but it was kind of dark, so we couldn't really tell. So we just assumed if it was the guy, he was probably just finally leaving us alone. So fast forward about 15 to 20 minutes later, we're like getting a little more tipsy. We're just having fun. We're just talking, and we're having a really good time, honestly. And besides like the car and him doing what he did then and what he'll do in the future, this was probably one of the best moments I had in a while at this point. Because that summer was tough, to say the least. I think anyone that graduates high school and goes to college and like loses some friends in the process knows it's not the easiest time, honestly. It kind of sucked. My god, I'm making this sound so sad again. Enough with the sad shit. This is supposed to be scary. But yeah, like I said, 15 to 20, maybe 25 minutes later, we're just walking, still having a good time, reminiscing and just doing our thing. And we're walking on the same side we saw the car driving away off the road on. So we're near like the edge of campus, like I said again. And we're near the fence. We're not like closer to the school. We're closer to like the edge of the border of the campus. And when we're there, we suddenly see lights and we hear a car's engine go off. And I don't mean like go off as in just turn on. I mean like, that was probably a bad way of describing it, but I mean like, I heard a car engine approaching us. And these lights weren't coming from the street. They were coming from another entrance on the track. Now the way our school is set up is there's a way you can get to the back and the middle of the school. If you were to go through one of the parking lots, chances are you'd be able to get to the middle of the school, and then from the middle of the school, you're able to get to the track. There's a little parking lot at the track for like joggers, and it's a community track, so anyone can go on it besides school hours. And the guy, he came from the front of the school where the parking lot intersects with the middle of the school, which is how you get back there. And he ends up parking in that parking lot. And me and my friend are just like, yo, what? This is like, at this point it was like 1:30 in the morning. We're just like, who is back here? Like, what? Who is back here? It's so late. There's no runners out. No one, this isn't normal. And I think any logical person knows in that scenario, yeah, that's not normal, and you should probably get out of there, which is what we're discussing. We're just like, okay, we should probably go. This doesn't seem right. Something seems off about this, and we're worried at this point that it's the car, and we decide to look a little closer, and it's hard as hell to see. Now, the bleachers were blocking a lot of lights from the car, and we're trying to like get a sense of, maybe we could get a sense of the color of the car somehow, or at least the shape. And we were able to get one out of the two. We were able to get the shape of the car. It wasn't a super big car. It was the size of that Tesla or like Civic that I was mentioning before. The guy that was following us, or that we assumed was following us, that matched up his car. And we're just like, okay, yo, this might be the dude. We need to get out of here. Like, this guy, I think, is stalking us or doing some really weird shit. My friends agree. We're just like, all right, we gotta get out of here right now. And then as we say that, we see the lights turn off, and then we hear doors opening and closing. And we're just like, what the fuck? What the fuck? Like, we're like talking to ourselves. We're just like, we gotta go right now. We gotta get out of here. Because we don't know who these people are. I mean, sure, maybe we're overreacting a little bit. Maybe they're just runners, and maybe this is just a massive coincidence, and maybe we're just freaking out because it's late at night. But remember, again, we're not 100% sober. And number two, if this is a coincidence, this is a massive coincidence then. And the way we saw it, we're not going to take the chance of it being a coincidence. So what do we do next? We did what any logical person would do. We jumped the fence. We jumped the fence on the track, on the school property, which the fence on school property and on the track, they were the same fence. So we didn't have to like jump over two fences or anything like that. But yeah, we jumped the fence, and this wasn't no little fence, obviously. This is a good at least 8 feet tall, and obviously we didn't jump it. We had to climb over it, but we practically jumped over that shit like a hurdler jumping over a hurdle. We were filled with adrenaline because we didn't know who this guy was or people were, possibly, and we just wanted to get out of there. And I remember I was able to jump it so quickly, and I actually cut myself up somewhat bad because because I guess there was a bunch of sharp edges on it or something else. It's not like there was barbed wire or anything, like it wasn't that bad, but like I got a somewhat bloodied arm from it, and my two friends, they were all good. They just fell a little bit weird, and yeah, when that happened, we just ran into like some woods that were nearby. Now these woods weren't like actual woods or anything like that. It was actually right around like this little pond area that people like walk past. Maybe people like feed geese that decide to go in there or something like that. So it was more of like, I guess, a little trail or something like that. It was more of like cover, I guess. And we run into that, and it's not like right next to the school. It's a little down the road. It's 100 meters away or something like that. And me and my friends, we don't care. It's like we run real fast into that like it's nothing, like it's one step or some shit. And we run there as fast as we can. We're a little bit out of breath just because like we ran so fast and we're just filled with all that adrenaline. And we're just like, at that point, we look behind us, no one's behind us, and we make our way through that little patch of woods. And that little patch of woods is actually kind of a shortcut to get to my friend's house. His house is actually right in front of a section of that woods, so we couldn't immediately get through to his house. With the woods, we kind of had to make a few odd turns here and there, but we went through the woods and we ended up back at my friend's house, and we were all good. But when we got back, we're just like, bro, what was that? Like, what was this dude doing? And this had to be the same dude. Like, I don't care what anyone tells me, this had to have been the same dude. What he wanted, or dudes, honestly, because we don't know if there were more than one person. It sounded like there were more than one person with the car doors closing. But I wasn't 100% sober, so I can't remember fully. But yeah, we're just talking. We're like, was that a cop or something? Or who was that? Like, I've never seen some rando go after like just 3 kids just walking on a track or walking in the street. And my other friends are just like, yeah, I don't know, man. Like, it was late at night. Who knows what that dude could have been doing? In this area, besides like the drug dealers I mentioned earlier, who weren't even that bad, like it's not like there was some giant gang, like giant Baltimore City gang or something going on. This wasn't even in the city. This was more in like the outskirts of the city, I'd say, because we weren't that far out. We were like 10-15 minutes away from the city. But anyway, just to wrap up the story, I guess, I stayed over at my friend's house over the night, and my other friend actually drove there. So he just left not that long after. He was like spooked from all that, and he just wanted to go home. And me and my other friend, like, we just talked a little more about it, I guess. Then eventually we fell asleep, and then I went home the next morning, and everything was fine. Nothing out of the ordinary happened from there. But nothing like that has ever happened. I've never been stalked or anything, and that was just like freaky to me. I guess it was kind of an experience, even though like we never saw who was actually like coming after us. All we saw was like the car or some shit. Again, I don't know if any listeners will think this is that scary, but for me this was pretty freaky. I actually have goosebumps this whole time telling this. And yeah, that's pretty much all I got. I do have another horror story that I'm not going to tell right now. This is going to be for another time, but it actually takes place around the same time. I guess the moral of the story is just be careful at night. Like, no matter where you are, there's always weirdos out there. Like, for all I know, this could have been like a crazy crackhead just not knowing what to do, because we did have a little bit of a crackhead problem as well in the area that I live in. But yeah, that's pretty much the end of the story. I hope you guys all enjoyed. Once again, if you did enjoy, make sure to give me a like. It really helps the channel, and I'm actually gaining somewhat of a consistent subscriber base with the channel. 40 subscribers now. That's like, to any random person, that may not seem that good. That may seem pretty mediocre, but I'm grateful though. I'm very grateful, to say the least. And yeah, I'll keep working on videos for you guys. And on that note, I hope everyone has a happy Halloween. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.